afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Nidhi Agarwal. I am a consultant gynecologist and IVF specialist working in Apollo Miracles Hospital in Sector 14 in Gurugram. Now, today I have been asked to talk on a very basic topic, that is choosing the right fertility treatment doesn't always means IVF. When I sit in my clinic, I see lots of patients coming to me. They are asking me, ma'am, हमें pregnant होना है, हमें difficulty हो रही है. I have been trying for 1.5, 2 years, but not being able to get pregnant. But I don't want an IVF treatment. So let me tell you, a patient when comes to us, or every patient doesn't need an IVF treatment. Out of 10 patients coming to a fertility clinic, only 2 to 3 patients are offered IVF. Rest can anyways be managed by other modalities. Sometimes we don't give them any treatment, we just counsel them that this needs to be done and you shall probably get pregnant in 3 to 6 months time. So let's start going with when does a couple actually needs to come to a gynecologist? Now, the answer to this is any couple who has been trying to conceive with regular intercourse and not using any contraception and trying to conceive since an year and still not getting pregnant should actually see a gynecologist. But if the age of the lady is more than 35 years, we usually say that if you have been trying to conceive since 6 months and still not successful, please see the gynecologist. Now, why age has been given such importance? This is because we all know one fact, that as the age advances, the ovaries start aging. A lady has got 2 ovaries in her body. With increasing age, the quantity of eggs that are present in your ovaries, they decrease, and apart from that, even the quality decreases. So both quantity and quality tend to decrease with increasing age. This is because when a girl is born, when a female child is born, she is born with a fixed number of eggs in her ovaries, with millions of eggs in her ovaries. But when she attains her menarche, that is at the age of around 12-13 years of age, she is left with just 1/4 of her eggs. Rest all the eggs have actually they've been destroyed by the self-destruction within the ovaries. And after that, the fertility potential tends to decrease as the lady ages. So the potential to become pregnant, which is there at 25 years of age because of a good quality of eggs and quantity of eggs, is not there at 30 years of age, and it further decreases at 35 or 40 years of age. So age is a very big marker when a lady comes to us in the fertility clinic. Second, we look for whether the lady is physically fit to be pregnant or not. Physically fit means she should neither be underweight nor overweight. But in our clinics, we usually have more patients who are either overweight or obese. So how do we calculate it? We just go by the body mass index, that is the BMI, which we calculate from the height and weight of the patient. The normal BMI of a lady is between 18.4 to 24.9. So if your weight is more than your as per your height, then we do ask the lady, to decrease her weight, both by exercise and by dieting, just lifestyle modifications, so that because once the lady is in her own BMI and she's not overweight, her hormones are also in place, and then her chances of getting pregnant are definitely increased multifold. So first we have talked about age, then comes the BMI, and then comes the other factors in male as well as female partner. Before we go to those factors, let me tell you what happens in a normal couple. How do they conceive? In a normal couple, we all know in a normal lady, in the mid-cycle, that is in between her 2 periods, the mid-cycle, she ovulates. That is, one egg is released from one of her ovaries, which is now picked up by the fallopian tube. Let me tell you first that 4 things are required for the lady to get pregnant. One is the sperms, then the uterus, the third is the fallopian tube, and then is the ovaries. So in mid-cycle, one egg is released from the ovary. It is picked up now by the fallopian tube. If the couple does intercourse during this time, then millions of sperms are released in her vagina. These sperms have got a tail, and so they can swim. So once they are released, they become active. They swim from the vagina into the uterus, and from the uterus they go into the fallopian tube where the egg has been picked up. So one egg and one lucky sperm have to meet for fertilization to take place. So fallopian tubes are very, very important because it is here that the fertilization takes place. Once fertilization occurs, the embryo is formed. Now this embryo again travels back from the fallopian tube into the uterus, and if it gets stuck to the inner lining of the uterus, then the pregnancy starts. So first, healthy sperm is required. An ovary releasing a healthy egg is important. For fertilization to take place, the tubes are important, and then the uterus, its inner lining, should be healthy where the embryo can stick. If all these factors are in place, then the lady conceives. Now what happens? Now in an infertile couple, there can be anything wrong in any of these factors which might be responsible for them not conceiving. So when you go to an IVF specialist or a fertility specialist, they always look for these 4 factors. Let's start first of all with the male factor, that is the semen. Now, when a couple comes to us, we ask them to have abstinence, that is not having intercourse for 2 to 3 days, and then giving their sample to the in the lab. What do we look for in the semen sample? Apart from looking into the color, appearance, 3 things are very important which are looked into the semen. First is the count, then motility, and then the morphology of the sperms. Morphology means shape and size of the sperms. Now WHO, World Health Organization, has set certain criteria for it. The count of the sperm should be at least more than 15 million per ml with a progressive motility of more than 32% and a morphology of more than or equal to 4%. So we have found that in many patients who come to us, these parameters might be deranged. Sometimes we have men coming with the semen of having a count of say 7 to 14 million per ml. So these men actually don't require an IVF. What we tell them is lifestyle modifications. If they are obese or overweight, we ask them to start exercising, to start having a healthy diet, a diet which is rich in fruits, vegetables and proteins, and they get all the vitamins and minerals. Apart from that, we ask them to take certain supplements and antioxidants so that the sperm health increases. Then we ask them to give a semen sample again to us after 8 to 10 weeks, and most of the times such men actually have a good semen after taking all these modifications as well as treatment. So these men do not require, these couples actually do not require an IVF. They can be managed just like a normal couple. However, we do get a subset of men who have very low sperm count, less than 5 million, with very little motility, almost non-motile sperms, and very bad morphology. For them, we do offer IVF ICSI, ICSI, which I'll tell you a little later. So once we have discussed the male factor, then the second factor which we'll talk about now is the ovaries. Ovaries have can be very easily assessed by doing an ultrasound on 2nd or 3rd day of the periods. We can actually count the number of active eggs that are present during that time in that cycle. Apart from that, we get a follicular study done. Follicular study is a series of ultrasounds we do in a patient just to see whether their follicle is actually growing in size and whether the follicle which contains the egg is getting ruptured or not, and the egg is being released or not. We do have many patients coming to us who have sometimes got very little eggs in their ovaries at a very young age. These patients are usually going into premature ovarian insufficiency. These subset of patients, we do say, yes, you should go for IVF because your age is less. So although the quantity of eggs is less in your body, but the quality will be good. So we can actually stimulate your ovaries, take out some of the good eggs that are present, and then fertilize them outside in the lab. And once the embryo is formed, we can transfer it back into your uterus. Apart from that, we find a number of women having not actually ovulating every month. These women usually come to us saying that they have got a menstrual irregularity. They don't bleed every month. They bleed somewhere around 35 to 40 days. They have 35 to 40 days cycle. Some even bleed every 1.5 to 2 months. And they are unable to get pregnant. Apart from that, they have other male-like pattern of hair growth, like having excess of facial hair, hair fall, then acne and many other symptoms. These set of women are actually having PCOD, polycystic ovarian disease. Now, patients of PCOD, if they have mild to moderate PCOD with mild symptoms, other investigations which we do, if they are mild to moderate PCOD, these women do not require an IVF treatment. Most of them can actually be managed by counseling. These women, 50% of these women are actually overweight or obese. So we ask them to exercise. A lot of emphasis is given on lifestyle modifications, like exercising, having a proper diet, a diet that is rich in fruits and vegetables, and eat lot of pulses and have less of carbohydrates, that is roti, chawal in your diet. So and exercise daily for 1.5 to 2 hours. Then so that when you reduce your weight, actually the hormonal imbalance which has been created in your body because of this PCOD will decrease. And then sometimes without any medicines also, they come to us while they are exercising and dieting, come to us with a pregnancy. Otherwise, if they are still not able to ovulate every month, we do give certain medicines which push their ovaries a little so that they can ovulate. And then hence their chances of having a pregnancy without an IVF increases and is very, very high. So ovaries can really be very well assessed by the ultrasound. Next comes the fallopian tubes, the third factor. I have already told you fallopian tubes are very, very important because fertilization, that is the meeting of the sperm and the egg, takes over here. How do we assess these fallopian tubes? Fallopian tubes cannot be seen on an ultrasound, and if they are normal, and sometimes we can't, most of the times we can't assess them. So there is another modality for them. You must have heard of hysterosalpingiography, HSG, sonosalpingiography, or is it moving? Or some laparoscopic procedure by which we can visualize the fallopian tubes. Now, what do we do in a hysterosalpingiography? We just push the dye into the uterus. The uterus is connected to the tubes. So once we push the dye into the uterus, it goes into the tubes. And if the tubes are open, the dye will actually move out from the tubes into the abdominal cavity. And we take a series of x-rays just to see whether the dye has come out of the tubes or not. If a lady had, we all know that a lady has got two tubes, two fallopian tubes. If the tubes are blocked, means there is no passage of dye from these tubes, then the tubes cannot pick the egg and the sperm cannot enter. And even if they are lying in the tube, they cannot meet. So fertilization cannot take place in a blocked tube. If a lady has got both the tubes that are blocked, these are the patients in whom we offer IVF. However, there are many women who have one blocked tube but the other tube is absolutely normal. So these women can actually conceive on their own, because even one tube is enough for you to get pregnant. That very tube which is normal will pick up the egg, the sperm can enter the fallopian tube, the egg and the sperm can meet and fertilization can take place. So even if one tube is patent, there is a high probability that we don't give IVF treatment and the patient conceives on her own. However, there are many women who have been trying to conceive with one patent tube since 2-3 years, and still not being successful. We do say that get an IVF done. Even if the tube looks normal, maybe there is some problem that you are not able to conceive. So we have discussed about the male factor, the ovaries in the female, the fallopian tube in the female. Now comes the fourth factor, that is the uterus. The uterus has got it can easily be assessed by an ultrasound. We look for the inner lining of the uterus, whether that is properly being formed or not, which can be assessed by an ultrasound. It is called endometrium. If there are fibroids or any polyp present in the uterus which are big and which are indenting the endometrium, we can easily take them out by a laparoscopic or a hysteroscopic surgery. And after that, once the endometrium is normal, we can ask the lady to try to conceive on her own. So they usually don't require any IVF treatment for that. So you have seen that every patient that comes to us doesn't actually need an IVF treatment. So who are the patients who actually need an IVF? First, if the lady has tubes that are blocked, if she has very little eggs left in her ovaries, then we do offer them IVF. Or if she has a male partner who has got less number of sperms, then we do offer IVF treatment. In many women, if the male has got the semen somewhere between the sperm count in the semen between say 8 to 14, 15 million per ml, we do offer them IUI. What is IUI? IUI is intrauterine insemination. That is, we ask the husband to give the sample. Once the lady has ovulated, then we take that sample, centrifugate it, then wash it, and the good healthy sperms are put directly into the uterus of the lady. And in a normal couple, the sperms are actually deposited into the vagina, but we decrease their distance. We take them into the uterus and leave the sperms over there. So if fertilization occurs in the tube, then pregnancy can occur. So this is basically an IUI or an intrauterine insemination. What actually we do in an IVF? Do we really need to be scared of it? No. IVF, what do we do? It means in vitro fertilization. In vitro means in the test tube. So the fertilization of the egg and the sperm, which normally takes place in the fallopian tube inside the human body, normally in a woman, is not taking place in the fallopian tube. We do that fertilization in the lab, in the dish. This is in vitro fertilization. What we do in this? We ask the lady to come on second or third day of her periods. We assess her by doing some hormonal tests and ultrasound, and we give her a hormonal injections for an average of about 10 days. Some women end up in 9 to 10 days. Some might need it for around 11 to 12 days. So injections are given with the aim to stimulate the follicles which are present in their ovaries, and so that they grow in size. Once they have reached an appropriate size, under anesthesia, we take out all these follicles which contain the eggs. Now the eggs are actually retrieved from the body, from the female, and brought into the lab. The husband is asked to give the semen sample on that day, and the egg and the sperm are made to fertilize in the lab. The embryo is formed in the lab, and once the embryo is formed, we place it back into the female's uterus, and if it gets stuck into the endometrium, then pregnancy can occur in an IVF. The success rate of IVF is very high as compared to, I would say, what happens in a normal human body. It is to the tune of around 40 to 45%. That means out of 100, 40 to 45 couples will have a pregnancy. पर इसमें समझने की बात ये है कि अगर 100 में से 40-45 कपल्स प्रेग्नेंट होते हैं, उसके अलावा 55 to 60 कपल्स प्रेग्नेंट नहीं भी होते हैं. तो and this is all about IVF. And then what is ICSI? ICSI. ICSI का मतलब होता है इंट्रासाइटोप्लाज्मिक स्पर्म इंजेक्शन. इसमें हम क्या करते हैं, जो स्पर्म क्वालिटी अच्छी नहीं होती है उसमें से अच्छे स्पर्म्स निकाल के एम्ब्रियोलॉजिस्ट लैब में उन अच्छे स्पर्म्स को डायरेक्टली एग में इंजेक्ट कर देते हैं. So it's injecting the sperm into the egg and then looking for whether fertilization occurs or not. So I can conclude over here. I have already told you all the patients who are not able to get pregnant actually don't need an IVF. Many of them can actually be counseled, can actually be given lifestyle modifications and certain supplements, antioxidants, and certain drugs which can help them in getting pregnant. So if you have any questions regarding this, anything about infertility, not getting pregnant, IVF, ICSI, IUI, you are most welcome to ask me any sort of question and I'll answer back. Thank you. तो कहने का मतलब यही है कि एज बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट फैक्टर होता है एक लेडी के लिए, कि getting pregnant or becoming a mother at the right age. Most of the women come to us कि अभी तो नहीं कर सकते हैं, अभी बच्चा नहीं करना है because अभी तो कैरियर है और बहुत सारी responsibilities हैं. See, your biological clock will not wait. Your eggs are aging, your ovaries are aging, so everything else can wait but this can't. So have your plan your family well in time. First of all, get married in time, then have your kids in time. Don't wait कि हम 32 के हो जाएंगे या 33 के हो जाएंगे तभी करेंगे. So and definitely don't wait for your age to cross 35 years of age. I am not saying that women don't get pregnant after 35. There are women who get pregnant at 40, 41, 42 years of age also. But we can't say that they are good examples. They have been lucky that they have conceived. So plan your family well in time. That is very, very important. Then remaining physically fit is very important. Eating junk food, having a high carb diet, not exercising, these all are actually very, very bad for your health. So remaining physically fit, when you do so, your hormones are also in place, and then if the lady, and then whenever the lady wants to get pregnant, if her hormones are in place, it will not take her long to get pregnant on her own. More importantly, if you have any doubts regarding your fertility, don't ask the non-medicos, your friends. They might be having some good experiences or bad experiences. Go to a doctor, talk to them, they'll tell you what actually the logic and what actually the basic is. That is very, very important. Having wrong notions, wrong ideas is not what that is to be practiced. Okay. Apart from that, don't become a doctor on your own. Don't Google if I'm having this problem. If I'm not having my periods every 30 days, I might be having PCOD. And then I see patients Googling and then coming to me and telling me that, ma'am, I have got PCOD. Many a times, and then they are actually very depressed that they have got PCOD. And the fact is that they don't have any problem. So seek the advice of a doctor. That is very, very important. Whatever your problem. So any type of stress on the body, whether it is any physical stress because or mental stress because of your work, has a very bad impact on your hormones, and that can also lead to a hormonal imbalance and you're making you not getting pregnant. So try to relieve all these stresses in your life. You can do meditation, yoga, exercise. All these actually release positive hormones into your body. That is the endorphins, which are actually good hormones. They they balance your body so well. And many couples, if they are exercising and they are happy, they don't have any stressful lives, they usually don't have any problem in conceiving. Apart from that, if you have any problem in having intercourse with your partner, and we do have couples who have never had intercourse, they have been married for 2 to 3 years. So for them, I would say, yeah, seek the advice of a doctor. So I have got a question. The first question is, how does age affect fertility and chances for a healthy pregnancy? So I have already told, age is a very big marker, because with age, as the lady ages, both the quality and quantity of the eggs decrease. So getting pregnant at the right time when you have good number as well as good quality of eggs is very important. That is why we have kept the benchmark as 35, but it's not so. If you get pregnant at 25, 26, that's all the more good. So with age, both your quality and quantity tend to decline. It's more in a female, whereas it's not so in a male. Males can actually have healthy sperm till 55, 60 years of age. So if you have a healthy egg and a healthy sperm, definitely you will have a healthy pregnancy. Now the next question is, what is HCG? Is it painful or not? Well, HSG means hysterosalpingography. This is a test which we do, in which we put a dye into the uterus and see whether the dye moves from the uterus into the fallopian tubes, and then it comes out from the tubes or not. If it comes out from the tubes, means the tubes are patent or they are open. So yes, it is actually a very painful procedure. Some women say we will get it done without any anesthesia, but we usually do it under sedation. And if the lady doesn't want any sort of pain, we actually do it under very short general anesthesia. It's just a 5 to 10 minutes procedure which is done in the OPD. So yes, it is painful. HSG is a painful procedure, and you can opt for short general anesthesia for the same. Okay. Now the next question is, ma'am, after my delivery on 15th November, I did not get periods till May, and from last 2 months missing again. have done pregnancy test also. So this might be because the now you must be lactating, you must be feeding your baby. Once you are feeding your baby, the hormones are actually not normal in your body, and there are women who are lactating, those who may not actually bleed for a year or so. And when they start bleeding, then also they don't have regular periods. They bleed, they may say that they bleed every 1.5, 2, 3, 4 months. Mm, so it is not that you are pregnant, but it doesn't also mean that while you are lactating and you are having these irregular periods, you cannot get pregnant. You can still get pregnant. So once after having a baby, you become sexually active. Use a contraception. Otherwise, you might end up in a pregnancy, and you might be thinking that मैं तो फीड कर रही हूँ इसलिए प्रेग्नेंट नहीं हो रही, इसलिए मैं प्रेग्नेंट नहीं हो सकती हूँ और इसीलिए मुझे पीरियड्स नहीं आ रहे हैं. Many women come to us while they are lactating with 3-4 months of pregnancy. So use a contraception while you are lactating, and in your case you did not have periods because you must be feeding your baby. Okay? Yeah. Any more questions? That is it. So we don't have any more questions. We can stop over here. But let me tell you, if you have any problem, any doubts relating to fertility, do feel free to come to us at Apollo Miracles in Sector 14, Gurugram. Thank you so much. Thank you all.